Okay, hello everyone, Random Gamer Riven here, just showing you a bit of the start of that with the look at the art gallery. This is all actually stuff we've unlocked previously, so I thought I'd show you the art gallery. Maybe I'll take some pictures for the blogs as well.
The most common reaction to a bird arrangement is...
Apologies I couldn't play the music constantly. It's because we don't know if some of this stuff's like homebrewed fan stuff, and it could be that it's copyrighted, in which case you'll get a content ID match, unfortunately. So we do have to be a little bit cautious with playing. Okay, so we have Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4, Mega Man 5, Mega Man 6, 7, Mega Man 8, Mega Man the Power Battles, and Mega Man 2 the Power Fight. So this is the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, and it was done by Atomic Planet in the UK. Now this was a bit of a controversial collection because the quality of the ports weren't that good. It's not actually ports of the NES games, it's ports of the PS1 games. Because all the NES games actually got ported to the PS1 by Capcom, and it's actually they've redone the ports. They've redone those ports. Mega Man 7 is the SNES one, but it's a slightly weird hacked version of the SNES one, not quite right. And Mega Man 8 is also the PS1 version, and because it's the PS1 version, it's missing the extra battle fights against Cutman and Woodman, so it is the inferior version of Mega Man 8. So I'm going to jump into Mega Man 2, the Power Fights, to begin with. Let's get started with a quick go on one of the arcade games. Now, this collection, partly because the emulation was a bit hooky, didn't actually get that widely released. It only got released in North America, didn't get released in Europe, and Atomic Planet was supposed to be doing a port of the GBA, of the original Game Boy games, to the GBA. That never materialised, supposedly because Capcom Japan was so horrified by this collection. They were very unpleased with Capcom US. So unfortunately, I mean, Atomic Planet didn't actually do a huge amount after this. They sort of petered out, and I think it's a shame because it's always nice to have British developers doing stuff like this, but sadly I don't think they were perhaps the right developers to handle it, or they needed more time. This really wasn't the best collection. Really, you wanted the best versions with the arranged soundtracks and everything. Now, the GameCube version is missing a few things over the Xbox One, I believe, because they had limited disk space in the GameCube one. So this versus the sequel. We've previously done a video of the original arcade game, so you get Mega Man, Proto Man, Bass from the original game. We also get Duo, and I'll jump in and play Duo. And you get 3 difficulty levels, recover new part. I think it's basically saying easy, medium, basically easy, medium, hard. Let's just search for Wily. You also get a mix of the characters. So some of these have been added in for this one. Some of these are actually reused from previous games. I think a couple of them were actually sprite rips from Mega Man 7, as I recall. There's some really slight weirdness with this one. There's actually a really great little arcade game, the Power Fight, so I really enjoy both of them. So I'll play this one and then we'll decide whether you guys want me to pick which one you want me to pick. So comment which Mega Man you'd like to see after this one. Do you want to see 7? Do you want to see 8? Do you want to see one of the original ones? I'm tempted to do the original Mega Man, but I'll leave it entirely up to you. So This was, I recall, isn't quite as lenient on the health you get back than the original one. So I mean, these are really, really good games, the two Power Fights. They were actually also released in a single collection on the PS2, and if you probably want the best version, that would probably be that one. I'm not entirely sure how good the arcade emulation was. This collection was missing a few noticeable ones, notably Rockman and Bass, which is by far one of the best Mega Mans. Unfortunately, Rockman and Bass has even been missed off the newer collections on the PS4 and Switch. I don't know why, but it's disappointing Capcom haven't released it, because that's one of the better ones out there. So basically you actually fight different robots depending on which of the campaigns you do, which is quite a nice little touch in this one. Now, some of the robots have been re-brought back over from the previous game, but a number of them are new, so there are a number of them. I think there were more returners than I would have liked. I think this was sort of a quick sequel. Although this is one of those arcade games I never actually saw in the wild, unfortunately, so always saddens me when you have that. Quite often there's arcade games like, oh, I never saw this in the wild, I'd love to play this, but sadly it was one of those ones. I mean, gameplay's simple enough, basically. I mean, Duo's got the disadvantage that he has slightly limited range, unlike Mega Man. I believe he's got much more stronger as a result, so... Yeah, that's really hammering giant on there. But I must admit, this collection does actually look pretty good when you put it into progressive scan. Now, it didn't originally support progressive scan. I'm using Switch to force it. However, you can use... Now, technically, this collection has one quite big flaw on the GameCube in that it's not actually running its native resolution in most of the games. It's not running at 240p. It's actually running at 480i. But as a result, ironically, it looks slightly better now because from what I've seen, the GameCube does not do 240p at all well. In fact, the GameCube is pretty horrible at rendering 240p. If you look at the X collection, which actually emulates the games far better, that was done by Capcom Japan, that has an issue where, because it's using 240p and the GameCube doesn't appear to do 240p that well, it doesn't look that good, ironically, whereas this one, when you force it into 480... It does. Now, the other problem is you can't actually force the Mega Man X collection. Unfortunately, I can't force it into 480 because I think it's because of the setup. Switch doesn't allow you to force it. It only forces the menus in the game to revert back to their native 240. Not a particularly hard game, this. Admittedly, I took a lot of damage there, but it's good fun. Got Bubble Man and Centaur Man.
Standby OK.
Ready? Go!
Now, basically, although you could pick the enemy men in any order, basically they actually get the longer these take to actually fight them, the bigger the health bar gets. So basically the first one is the shortest health bar, the sixth one will have the longest health bar. So if there's one you're not particularly very good at, it's recommended you fight him first over fighting him last. Ooh, beat there and shield. Ooh, let's go. This does have a Mega Man from all the first 7 games. It doesn't have any Mega Man from the 8th. Mega Man from the 8th. Basically, enemy robots from the 8th game, as I recall. I think the 8th game came out afterwards. The only thing I will show you is because this one does actually work in. If I turn the scan lines on, it actually looks quite good. Because this is running at 480, so I will just put that up to about 225 should get me that. Okay, that's probably more like what actual scan lines look like in arcade games. A lot of scan lines are usually meant to be as small as possible in a lot of games I've seen. So this gives you that authentic look while still maintaining good quality picture. Most games tend to have scan line screens that are too small, but this, the HDMI device I'm using, which we posted about in the comment section on the YouTube page, you can find out more about. So all the music is also remixed versions of previous Mega Man themes as well. And what's the scan lines, while nice, I'm not a big fan of them myself. Now again, this sprite is taken straight from Mega Man 7, the Mad Grinder.
Okay.
It's been a while since I played this, but not too bad. I'm losing the 1 credit so far. Perfect. Admittedly, that's because I died, so that's to be expected if you continue right just before you kill him. While is actually much harder than the one in the first one. Oh, you still catch him anyway, even if you don't quite beat him. Actually, which might include Mega Man 8, because Duo is, of course, from Mega Man 8. Like this and Mega Man 8, I think, are the only two games Duo actually appeared in as a player character. I think he may have appeared in as like trophies and pickups in one or two of them, but at some point I'll do the actual arcade version, which will look far shinier, but I just thought I'd show this on collection to show you what it's like. Certainly a good way to play these if you don't have the PS2 collection, which is quite expensive and rare to find these days. It was only released in Japan, the PS2 release. So basically they got released, the anniversary collection got released in North America. There was a Rockman, the Power Battle and Power Fights collection in Japan only, that was the two arcade games. This also infamously got a Neo Geo port that is incredibly expensive to find these days. Neo Geo Color Pocket, I should say. It's the pocket version. What's Dr. Light made by Alien Energy? Play Mega Man 8 to find out. Yes, there's a sure promotion. And we've got the credits roll. I'll just return to game room. I'll be a bit cheeky and quit early. So which Mega Man should we do? I don't hear any suggestions, so I'll pick one. Tempted to do the original, but the original is brutally hard. The original is basically the actual hard one because you don't get any continues or passwords. Mega Man 2 is sort of the iconic one. Mega Man 2 is the one where the series became ridiculously easy and then things just get better and better. You know what, I'm going to pick, I think because most people are aware of Mega Man 2. Mega Man 1 is a bit of a misstep in places. they made some improvements, I will pick Mega Man 2 because I expect this is the title most people will be familiar with as their first outing. Let's have a quick look at this one. Now, I think there's some speculation the music wasn't particularly well emulated. I also think it's actually the remix soundtrack. I know there is an additional sound. There were some more options on the Xbox version, which came later, and also because it was using DVD, there were some benefits to having large disk space. I think there was a lot. The GameCube one, they were a bit short of space, so. I just wish they hadn't actually rushed this collection, just spent a bit more time getting it right, so including the Saturn port of Mega Man 8 and, I mean, even to be fair to Atomic Planet, even the recent outing, the two recent outings do not include the Saturn ports of Mega Man X4 in the X collection and Mega Man 8 in that on the PS4, and that's really, really disappointing because they were done by Capcom, and anyone who knows their salt will know Saturn's one was better, and Mega Man X4 had better visual effects. Even though the opening transparency wasn't present, there were a lot of other bits that looked an awful lot better, such as the shimmer, burning shimmer effect in the background after the palace has crashed on the first stage. And then you also have Mega Man 8, which had the extra fight content as well. So it's basically, I mean, Mega Man X4, I don't think had any additional content. There were just some effects missing. I just wish he had his slide and his power shot in the earlier games, but he doesn't. I'm wondering why I did that. I think I'm already at the castle, perhaps. Is this the one that... I've got a feeling this may horribly keep your save progress, in which case I might want to just pop out the memory card at this point so I can... Yeah, it's the castle. Okay, I'm going to be a bit cheeky. As I've already shown you, so don't try that at home, kids. Don't remove your card. Don't remove your memory card while your cube's on, but I have just done there, so I will then throw a hissy fit and then wonder, so I can go into new game without fear of obliterating my save files. So this is the one thing, this collection makes Mega Man 1 quite easy because you can actually continue from where you left off thanks to the save system. So it actually makes Mega Man 1 very easy to play. So yeah, I was going to say, this is more like it. Okay, who should we do first? Woodman, Crashman, Flashman, Metalman, Heatman, Bubbleman. Woodman was always my favourite. Again, just to show you the scan lines on. Scan lines on nice and light as well, so they don't spoil it. They don't. You can tell I've played this quite a lot before. I've played an awful lot of the Mega Man games because I've finished practically every single one of them. turn it down. Turn this. Basically, I turn up and increases the strain, just to get you an idea of how. That way you get the classic sort of scanline look while still keeping the picture quality like a high quality CRT. A lot of games generally have scanlines on too high, so the filters just look nothing like actual scanlines, and I hate that when they don't get scanlines. Right, this actually gets scanlines pretty good, so you have a picture that's relatively related to how they actually look on a high quality CRT. This bit I'm a little rusty, got to time those jumps perfectly, and they were not timed perfectly. I've always enjoyed the Mega Man series. They are trial and error a bit, you have got to learn the routes. What annoys me is the myth about they're hard. They will never, aside from the original game, the rest of the series is once you get the password systems, as long as you have a trial and error, they're actually really easy. But because they put in that hard myth, some of the newer games are brutally unforgiving. There's a couple of them where they think the series is hard, and you've got to remember the series is actually really easy, but they just make them brutally hard as a result, which kills the fun of it. Mega Man 9 and 10 were really bad at that. In fact, I particularly dislike Mega Man 9 and 10 because they were designed by people that clearly didn't understand the series, and they were a huge step back rather than a step forward, like Mega Man 8 and 7 were. In fact, Mega Man and Bass is a fantastic step forward, even though it never got a... Well, it never got an English release on the SNES. It did get a Game Boy Advance English release, but Game Boy Advance version is just not as good. Ooh, that's perfect. Perfect luck there, full health. Okay, stand back. Make sure that I'm not standing too close to the edge, because when you take a hit you fall backwards a bit. Hello there, Ginetto. Hi, hope you're enjoying the stream. We're just having a look at Mega Man 2 at the minute. Skip that. One of the things with Mega Man is actually just avoid enemies. Sometimes it's actually more beneficial than fighting them. Your aim really is to get to the boss as jump where's my knight. Those guys, do these guys jump when I shoot them? This is where I've got to remember how you handle some of the enemies. It's like, yeah, how do you deal with these guys? They stand, yeah, they jump you as you approach. So actually, see, some of these early stages are actually really short. Take note of this because I've actually been playing through Mega Man 11. I said playing through it, I actually found that brutally hard and with incredibly long stages that just got super boring. So Woodman here is actually basically you've just got to fall in between the leaves and jump them. He's not actually that hard, it's just getting the patterns down. I think I'm actually better standing right at the edge. Just getting his leaf shield down right. How many lives have I got? Probably got a couple. I should tell you what's my in-game menu. Is that... Surely I should have the life menu. I should... really have got to get that jump timed perfectly against him. Too slow. Yeah, hit that wood shield, you've got to just... I'll swap stages, a few of them, so I won't go against the same one. Crashman's... Quickman was actually quite an easy one. Heatman as well. Basically, you just got to time the jump against Woodman just right, but my jumping was not perfect. Switch off the scan lines. That gives you an idea of what, with the right scalers, what they can look like, and HDMI devices. We have got a review of the device coming. It's taking longer than I was expecting, actually. I'm hopeful to get most of it done tomorrow. I was hoping to have it finished this week, but it's just taking far longer than I was expecting. Due partly to unforeseen circumstances going on in the world at the minute. So another thing in Mega Man games, always keep on the move if you can. They do like to punish people if you sit around with just inundating you with enemies, so keep on the move. And be prepared to jump fast, so I need this guy to be just over here because he's going to go dashing as soon as I... Ho-hum, my favourite platforms. Mega Man 1 was quite brutal with those jumping platforms, there was loads and loads of them. I think I thought that latter one would kill me. Okay, this is where I've got to get. Like I said, there is a real... Mega Man really is about trial and error and memory, so you're never actually going to do levels on your first playthrough because you need to know where the blocks fall. That last one needs to time, so I jump on the one above. Basically, it's just a case of memory. All I'll say is, thankfully, none of the Mega Man games has timers. Across and up. Right. Practice makes perfect. Ugh. I won't hang around. I was hoping to avoid stage with jump puzzles like this because I'm not on my top game at the minute. Jump, 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 jump. cross, 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 jump cross, cross, jump cross. This is all blind jumping now. Jump cross, ignore that. That is a fool's. And that's what I mean about blind jumping and trial and error. So I'm actually going to just skip out of this stage. Shame, because Heatman's actually one of the easy ones to beat. I'll jump to, is it Flashman or Metal Man's quite an easy one. See if I can actually try and beat one quick before I swap the game. But the stages are quite short and quite neatly compact, which is quite nice about these early ones. Mega Man 11, the newest one, the levels are far, far too long. And that's called frame lag. I mean, it's not the perfect collection, but it's still a great way. It was a great way to play all the games. Admittedly, these days now, the more newer collections vastly going to be a better choice. Although, again, even the sound emulation on that newer one wasn't quite right, which is disappointing. But they did add in a lot of new features, and certainly Mega Man 7. Well, Mega Man 7 was in the second one. Annoyingly, again, they changed that because they cut out some of the graphics. Because Junkman stage is supposed to have Famicoms in the background, and clearly they were, despite the fact those Famicoms are shown in this one, they got a bit nervous for the later collection. There were a few changes in the newer collections. Capcom were a bit applying modern day standards to retro games, like, well, actually no, just let it be, let it be. Because the minute you start messing with history, then you repeat its mistakes. So I'm not one for actually for censoring history. You have to learn from the past, and Capcom did have censored and altered a few of the games, which I deeply disagree with. I can understand the reasoning behind it, but I think the game should always be left in their original context. And in Mega Man 7 they cut out the Famicom, probably because they were concerned over the licensing. Because in fact that's a Nintendo console, although weirdly they were in the PS2 version, but they were somehow concerned for it, for the God, that's some terrible puzzling, not jumping and shooting by me. That's what I should have been doing the first time. I will finish this stream pretty much on time today. I'm not going to be doing much overtime. That's purely because I've not actually slept that well tonight. Hence why my Mega Man gaming is. Well, I didn't sleep that well last night, so my Mega Man gaming is not on the ball at the minute. And I can feel the tiredness getting to me a bit. See, the levels are actually really quite short in Mega Man 2. They're not actually that hard. So a lot of the myth about the games being that hard, I mean, the Heatman stage was quite annoying, but this one is actually quite a nice short length stage, reasonable length, quite good fun. And you notice he reciprocates with how many bullets you shoot at him. So if I shoot... So he's not that hard at all, it's just a case of learning jumps and just falling in between his patterns. Oh. Come on, I don't have to do this fight again. Yes, got him. Now, that's how you do it. Even when you're tired, I can still beat some of the Mega Men. Or the robots. Not Mega Man, Rockman. The wily robots, I should be saying. But yeah, they're not actually that hard. It's just a case of learning their patterns and just watching what they do. Some of them require quite tight jumping, such as Woodman, but there you go, that's all you got to do. The series has, as I said, the series has an unfortunate reputation for being brutally hard, despite the fact it's not really. The original Mega Man game was brutally hard, but the later games are far, far easier. In fact, some of the Mega Man games, certainly some of the X series, if you can't finish them in a day, you shouldn't call yourself a gamer, because some of them are incredibly easy. So do you guys want me to jump to another Mega Man game? Even though I just started this one, actually, I think I will do. I'll show a bit of Mega Man 8, just while I'm still... Games room, yes. Mega Man 8 was the last one on was the one on PS1 and Sega Saturn, and it's actually really good looking in this once you so we've done one from the Power Fights arcade. We've done one of the classic arcade NES games, or in this case, they're actually the Mega Man. I'm just actually going to skip the anime intro. Mega Man 8. They actually changed the copyright for this one. So they've got the modern copyright, but I don't know how much adjusting they actually did to it. So I will skip the intros. But just compare the evolution. As you look at how Mega Man 11 looks, and look at Mega Man 9 and 10 that they did on the Wii. I hate Mega Man 9 and 10, as I said, they're just such a step backwards. This one looks great, plays great, the animation's just fantastic. It's got so much character. I wish they carried on and pushed it. The problem was, at the time, Mega Man was beginning to wane in popularity. It didn't help he had not been particularly well covered in Europe, which is one of the big problems with the Mega Man series. They were always a bit put on the cuff. They were given relatively poor releases in Europe, so they didn't sell particularly well. In fact, most of them on the Game Boy were given such bad releases that it was almost impossible to get hold of them. And it's a vicious circle. If you don't get the games out there, people aren't going to be buying them. So you can see they're fairly straightforward stuff. I apologize, turned off the sound there just while I was actually concentrating. And my headphones scrolling up. So why you're here, ha ha ha. But this is the point about the evolution of Mega Man. This one just looks so fantastic with the visuals, with the art style, with the animation. And it was a real backward step to see some of the later games that were sort of retro inspired that just weren't particularly very good. In fact, the later ones, 9 and 10, I would say were actually worse than 5 and 6, than 4, 5 and 6, the latest sort of classic NES ones, because they were really pushing the series forward. And it's one of those harbingers I hate when you sort of do badly inspired retro games that don't quite meet up to the standard. Mega Man 11 does some improvements, but again, it still misses the mark. The problem is because of this is Mega Man 8 is what Mega Man 8 and Mega Man and Bass. The problem with the Mega Man series, Mega Man 8, Mega Man Bass are what I describe as juggernauts in the series. They are pinnacle games in the franchise. Mega Man and Rockman and 4, Mega Man and Bass is basically a superbly done title. Looks fantastic, plays fantastic, and that puts Mega Man 11, Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10 to shame. And Capcom need to look at Mega Man and Bass again and actually say, if they want to make a good game again, they need to say, what did they do right about this? How can we evolve the series from Mega Man and Bass? Because for every game I've seen so far is a backward step compared to Mega Man and Bass. And basically then say, okay, how can we push the series forward? Which is something from a games design perspective, how I would tackle it, because you need to be evolving the series. You should always need to be evolving series, is adding, implementing new mechanisms. I mean, just look at the size of this sprite compared to the sort of classic NES ones. It just looks fantastic. This is Frostman. It just looks so lovely in the size and animation. In fact, by this point, because the SNES cartridges were getting so large, Mega Man and Bass actually reused. So Mega Man and Bass was actually after Mega Man 8, seen here. As basically, Mega Man 8 didn't actually, because I got the official one of the official art books, and they basically, Kenjo Aino and the Capcom team admitted Mega Man 8 didn't sell as well as they were hoping, so they actually made the next one on the SNES. And it actually reuses a lot of the animation used in Mega Man 8, even reuses two of the bosses. There's some plot about Wily coming back and rebuilding some of them, but this skateboard was actually used in one of the X games as well later. Something similar with the bikes later on, but this is what I mean about the jumping there. Really got to be careful now. Slide. It really is a huge step over some of the it's a huge step over some of the ones you see in Mega Man 9 and 10, and even 11 is just such a much more vibrant game. Just plays better, looks more impressive, and just implements more newer ideas. Like this section here, it's just really nice to actually have a change in traditional Mega Man gameplay. You're actually riding on a skateboard, and it just adds something to it. I think that, as I said, some of the later ones, Capcom really need to go back to this, say, okay, let's look at everything this and even the X games did, and say, how can we improve upon it? And that's what they need to do. But that's what I haven't seen them do, and that's what I hope in the future they will do as well. See a really nice touch there with the snow selection as we're going through it. And despite me being somewhat rusty, that's actually not a bad run. But as I said, Mega Man 11, although I played that, I need to actually finish that. That just is not as good as this, doesn't look as good, and just is not as well represented. And the stages are overly longly designed as well. This has got much more tighter, neater stages. We've got a sense of humour as well, like here we've got the whale throwing. There's a great sense of humour with some of the Mega Man games. They didn't take themselves too seriously, and they said they weren't actually that hard, but the myth got in that they were. As I said, the original NES one was brutally hard, but none of the others were. But the myth carried on. I think it's more just journalists and people who just couldn't do them, and actually just got to spend a bit of time with them, and they're not that hard at all. So they are actually great fun and have a great sense of humour at times. Probably need the fireman's weapon to melt them. This one you can't actually do all 8 robots at the get-go. A couple of them have that where you do 4 and then they move on to the next 4. That's slightly annoying because that does actually slightly reduce the order. We want to actually get to Frostman, so I'll try and get to Frostman before I finish because he's got such a wonderful looking sprite. Don't rush Riven. Again, it's a nice touch like there, the screen, you've got the metal on the actual art in the background. So here we've got a nice touch here with the clouds actually obscuring your view. Again, lots of little mechanics like this in Mega Man 8 that you don't get, and like I said, in the later ones. There's lots of some really nice visual mechanics. It just much better. This, as I said, just feels more of. This just feels more of an evolution compared to what they did with Mega Man 11. So Mega Man 11 is just a huge step backwards. Not as badly back as 9 and 10, but Capcom really do need to look at these older ones again and say, okay, what did they do right here? And I think, to be honest, the reason, some they may say, well, Mega Man 8 didn't sell particularly well, but Mega Man 8 came out, unfortunately, at that time where... I bet you that was the end as well. Mega Man 8 came out at that time where, unfortunately, 3D games were often seen as better than 2D for no reason other than being in 3D. And despite the fact this is aged 100 times better, it was no doubt a victim of that, and I suspect at the time the PlayStation magazines also gave it a bit of a rough ride. Oh, I have got all life left. Right, so let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. Apologies if I don't. Down, slide. Now, where do I continue? Do I start? I start at the halfway point. I'm going to finish there, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies, I couldn't get to Frostman. So I'll finish there. Thanks for watching this stream as always, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Random Game Riven. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this brief look at the Mega Man collection. I know we've only had a sample of a couple of games, but I thought it was just nice to actually play a Mega Man game. We haven't covered too many on the channel, despite the fact I'm a huge fan of them. Maybe at some point I'll do a long player review of them. But thanks for watching. Thanks for being here with us on the stream. I have been your host, Random Game Riven. As always, we'll have more streams tomorrow, and we'll be looking at Fire Pro Wrestling Gadian Blazing Tornado tomorrow, so I hope you've enjoyed it. And basically hit that like button as always if you liked our content. Thanks to those who've already hit the like button. And as always, if you aren't a subscriber, or I suspect most of you watching this are, please do hit the subscribe button if you're watching this in future. I have been your host, Random Game Riven, and thank you. That's it for me tonight.